the truth came out. And it was worse than I thought. You know what's terrifying? It's not the debt. It's the moment you realize the person you're dealing with was never confused. They were calculated. Because in episode 6, we didn't just discover she wasn't paying. We discovered she never planned to. After the final bank deadline, my mom stopped trying to keep peace. She stopped making calls to talk. She stopped asking gently. And for the first time, she said one sentence that changed the energy in the house. Show me everything. Everything. Every email, every statement, every document, every message. Because the only thing stronger than denial is paperwork. That night, we spread everything across the table. Loan letters, bank notices, call logs, screenshots. And when you look at it all together, it doesn't look like a mistake. It looks like a system built on avoidance manipulation and someone else cleaning up the mess. My sister walked in, saw the table, and froze. Not confused, not surprised, just annoyed, like we had interrupted her. My mom asked, calm but firm, "Where did the money go?" My sister did what she always did. She sighed, rolled her eyes, and said, "Why are you interrogating me?" Interrogating, as if accountability is abuse. My mom didn't flinch. "Answer the question." My sister laughed, actually laughed. Then she said, "It's not that deep." Not that deep. While collectors were literally escalating. That's when my mom slid a document across the table, a credit inquiry, dated after I reported her. Meaning, she tried again. Not on my card, on something else. And she didn't even deny it. She said, "I was trying to fix things. Fix things. By opening more credit." That's when the truth finally started bleeding through. The reveal, midsection. My mom kept digging, and this part still shocks me, because buried in the paperwork was a second loan inquiry. Not approved, but attempted, in my mom's name. My mom stared at it, like her brain couldn't process the betrayal. Then she whispered, "Could you use my information?" My sister went quiet, a full 5 seconds. Then she said, "I didn't use it. I just had it." Had it. Like that was normal. Like that didn't change everything. I watched my mom's face change in real time. Not anger first. Hurt, then fear. Then something heavier than both. Reality. My mom asked her again, "Did you ever intend to pay this loan?" My sister didn't answer. She tried to redirect. "You're acting like I'm a criminal." My mom said, "No, I'm acting like I'm responsible." That line hit me, because it was the first time my mom chose responsibility over comfort. My sister didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She didn't even pretend. Instead, she attacked. She said my mom was dramatic. She said I was poisoning the family. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. "If you guys don't help me, then don't call yourselves family." That's the core of manipulation. Love is leverage. Family is a hostage negotiation. My mom stood up, hands shaking, voice steady. And she said, "I love you, but I won't finance your destruction." Finance your destruction. That was it. The truth sentence. The boundary sentence. And boundaries feel like betrayal to people who benefit from you having none. My sister snapped. She grabbed her bag, and before leaving, she said, "You'll regret choosing him." Choosing him. She still framed it as a loyalty war, not a reality check. That night, my mom didn't sleep. She sat at the kitchen table in silence, staring at the final notice like it was a mirror. And quietly she said, "I created this." That sentence hurt, because she wasn't blaming herself for the debt. She was blaming herself for enabling it. And here's the lesson that matters. Some people don't change when you explain. They change when the system stops supporting them. Because enabling isn't love, it's a delay on consequences. And when consequences finally arrive, they arrive with interest. 2 days later, the bank called again. But this time the call wasn't just about payment. They said, "We need to verify identity due to suspicious activity." Suspicious activity. That means flags. That means internal review. That means the word nobody wants. Fraud. My mom looked at me and said, "Is this what you felt?" Yes, exactly, that pit in your stomach, because suddenly it's not a family problem, it's a legal problem. My mom asked me something I'll never forget. If I report her, am I destroying her life? I said, no, you're stopping her from destroying yours. My mom picked up the phone. She didn't cry. She didn't hesitate. She spoke clearly, and she asked the bank for the fraud department. I watched her, and I realized this wasn't revenge. This was survival. And that's where episode 6 ends, because in episode 7, the final episode, the fallout is immediate. Family members pick sides. The truth spreads, and my sister makes one last move that none of us saw coming. If you want to see how this ends, subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Because episode 7 isn't just emotional, it's the conclusion, and it's the only way this story can end, with a boundary. See you in the final episode. There's something nobody talks about when it comes to family loyalty. We're taught that protecting family is noble, that standing by blood is unconditional, but nobody teaches you the difference between loyalty and liability. That night, after my sister left, my mom didn't just sit in silence. She started remembering. Little things, moments that felt small at the time. The first time my sister borrowed money and didn't return it. The time she lied about a late bill, the excuses, the dramatic tears, the way every situation somehow turned into someone else's fault. And my mom said something that hit harder than anything else. I always thought she would grow out of it. That's how enabling survives. On hope. Hope that maturity will magically appear. Hope that consequences won't be necessary. Hope that love is enough, but hope without accountability becomes permission. I realized something uncomfortable too. I had been angry at my sister, but part of me was angry at my mom. Because every time she cleaned up the mess, she silently told my sister, there's no real cost. And when there's no cost, behavior doesn't change. It evolves, it escalates, it gets smarter, more strategic, less emotional, more calculated. The hardest truth in all of this wasn't about money, it was about identity. My sister didn't see herself as irresponsible, she saw herself as misunderstood. She didn't think she was manipulating. She thought she was surviving. That's the danger. When someone believes their own narrative, they stop seeing harm. And when harm is invisible, it spreads. My mom asked me, when did this stop being a mistake? And I told her the truth. It stopped being a mistake the second she tried again. Because mistakes feel chaotic, patterns feel intentional, and once you recognize a pattern, you can't unsee it. For the first time, my mom stopped asking, how do we protect her? And started asking, how do we protect ourselves? That shift changes everything, because boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They separate responsibility from emotion. They protect stability. They protect dignity. They protect future damage. And here's something most people won't admit. When you finally stop enabling someone, you feel guilty. Even when you're right, even when it's necessary, even when it's overdue. Because walking away from chaos feels cruel, until you realize staying would have been self-destruction. That night, my mom said, if I call the fraud department, I lose my daughter. And I said, no, you lose the illusion. Because the daughter she thought she had wouldn't have done this. And facing that truth hurts more than any debt.